Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaurari. Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Jaya Sachinandana, Gaurari. Gaurari, Sachinandana, Jai Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath Swami, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Yamuna Tira
Welcome everybody to the Sunday Love Fish session today. So today we'll be talking about Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 Karma Yoga, summary of chapter 3. So before I start, I would like to offer my humble obeisances and my gratitude to all my superiors, Lord Krishna, our Guru Parampara, Lord Chaitanya, our current Vartaman Acharyas, Guru Gans, my Master Rabbi Viraj Prabhu, and all my superiors to whose blessings I am here today. So my humble gratitude and obeisances to all of you. So today we'll be speaking about Bhagavad Gita. So as you all know, Bhagavad Gita is the philosophical text spoken by Sri Krishna and Arjuna. So before starting Bhagavad Gita, so before coming to chapter number 3, we'll just have a brief summary about what happens in chapter number 1 and 2 to get a quick overview of what happened till now. So in first chapter, we see that it starts with Dharmakshetra, Kurukshetra, Samveta Yutsava, Mamaka Pandava Sheva, Timakurvata Sanjaya. So Dhritarashtra is asking that, oh Sanjaya, what happened in Kurukshetra where my sons, which are the Kauravas and Pandavas, son of Pandavas, as well what happened there. So Sanjaya narrates, he describes about both the armies, and then Arjuna tells Krishna that kindly take the chariot amidst both the armies. And when he says Dhritarashtra, he says his grandfather Bhishma, Drona, and he becomes a little bit emotional. Wherein he says that I can't fight because who am I fighting for? After fighting, what is the gain to gain? And we will incur a lot of sin. And in these ways, he speaks many things and many reasons why he should not fight. But ultimately, what happens in Bhagavad Gita 2.7? He says, maybe anyone knows? Yes.
Hari.
So, in this way, he surrenders unto the Lord, asking, what is best for me? And there begins the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna starts to narrate Bhagavad Gita. So, broadly speaking, briefly speaking, he speaks why Arjuna should fight in two ways. First, he starts from Bhagavad Gita chapter number 2.12 to 2.3. He speaks about Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga, or we can say analytical study, means that what is this, and based on this, what I should do. So basically, it means analyzing, just as people do nowadays. Okay, fine. So this is this. So what should I do about it? Scientific way, speculation, or we can say philosophical understanding. So there he speaks about the science of the soul, that the soul never dies. So who is slain is not a killer, as well as who is killed, he is also not killed because soul is eternal, it can't be cut to pieces. And then Krishna says that even if you are killed, or by chance if your body is slain, still because you're fighting for dharma, so you are either going to gain the earthly planet, means this kingdom for your fighting, or you're going to gain the heavenly kingdom. So either ways it's good for you. So because you're fighting for dharma. And finally he says you are a Kshatriya. So for a Kshatriya, infamy, because if you just leave, it will people will say you were coward. So that infamy is greater than that. So it's better that you at least fight and die rather than running away. So in this way, Krishna tries to give explanations through philosophy that what is best for him to do. Later, in Bhagavad Gita chapter number 2.40 to the end of 2.72, he speaks about Karma Yoga, or I can say Buddhi Yoga. So in Buddhi Yoga, he explains that even Neha Vikramanaso Pratya Vayuna Vidyate Swalpam Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Vayana. Meaning, a small endeavor in the path of Buddhi Yoga is eternal and you are not going to lose anything. And he speaks about how one should meditate on the Lord. By meditating on the Lord, one will lose all the sinful reactions or any entanglement which he is in of this life as well as of the previous life. And in this way, he will be freed from everything. And finally, he also says to conclude about the ways or the symptoms of the self-realized souls. And finally, he says that just as a river, many rivers are flowing unto the ocean, but still the ocean is stable. In the same way, even if there are many desires coming in, if your mind is stable by focusing yourself on meditating on the Lord, then what happens? There won't be any lamentations or hankering or distress or anything. So in this way, you can still be free from everything. And in this way, he concludes. So as we know, chapter number 2 was summary of Gita summarized, content of Gita summarized. So at this stage, Arjuna had one doubt. Obviously, the Bhagavad Gita was spoken to Arjuna because he was representing us, so that Krishna can convey the knowledge of Gita to us through Arjuna. So Arjuna, on behalf of us, had a doubt. So Arjuna asked that first, O Krishna, you told me that you need to fight the war. Through Sankhya, he said it's better to fight. And then Krishna, you are telling me that meditate on me through which you will be free from everything. Which is better? Buddhi Yoga is better. So, do you mean I should fight or do you mean I should meditate on you? So, which is better? So, Arjuna is placing this doubt on behalf of us. So, this is one of the important teaching for us to understand about what spiritual life actually is. So, let's try to understand what Gita actually is. So, when it says Karma Yoga, as we are going to read about Karma Yoga, so let's first try to understand. So that is second thing. Third thing is kal, which is time. Fourth thing is nature, prakriti. And fifth is our karma. And out of these five, we are going to see the first four things are fixed. You can't change. You can soul is eternal. Already Krishna says. Then God. Then we see kal, which is ever flowing. Then we see prakriti, the nature. But fifth thing, karma, is one thing which you have control over. Not completely, but still, it's in our hands. So if, as people say that I want to have change in my life, so how can you do it? When you take charge over your actions, what you do, why we do what we do. So when we know what we are doing and we know the reason why we are doing, there actually the change happens. So there is a saying, right? Nothing changes if nothing changes. Means if we don't do any change within ourselves, which is how we work, till then there will be change in our life. So that is the very reason karma is very important. And what karma is, like it's Sanskrit term, karma translates to action. So action means whatever we do is what is karma. And karma basically are at three levels. One is sukarma, one is vikarma, and one is akarma, which we'll be speaking in detail in this subject matter. But these are the three ways karma works. So when we understand what is action and what is better and how to take charge over it, then we'll be able to make a
if Arjuna is saying that by meditating on the Lord, you will be free from all the reaction. And what? So, what happens? Okay, someone else is also giving a lecture. Fine. So, what Arjuna thought that if I'm going to meditate on the Lord, that means I am not going to fight. And if I'm not going to fight, that means I'll be free from reaction. That's what his conception was. So if I meditate, giving my work without doing my duty, and just meditate on the Lord, that means I'll be free from all the entanglement, no sins, happy life. But Krishna clarifies that what? Just by not doing your duty, you cannot be free from reactions. That means what? You can't renounce your activity and just think that you are safe. That doesn't work that way. And ultimately, Krishna says that just by taking sannyas or renunciation, you do not attain perfection. Why? That Krishna clears it in the next verse. What Krishna says, that if one renounces all the work, all the duties, but his mind still meditates on sense objects, then what Krishna says, he is a pretender. So that is one of the reasons why we should not prematurely renounce anything. So, and in the next verse, what Krishna says, that someone who is engaged in Krishna consciousness without attachment, engaged in karma yoga without attachment, he is far better. So how to understand this? So let's take an example, Raman. So Raman, although he appeared as a pandit and externally he seemed as if he is very good, but when he came near, ultimately what he did, he actually kidnapped Sita. And speaking of today's time, if we go to India especially, and it has happened in the past many times, what happens? They look very good, they have saffron colors or whatever, they wear it, they wear simple attire, and what they do, unfortunately, they exploit the innocent people. And why it happens? Because change externally is very easy. Maybe this costed me probably 10 euros, and probably shaving would cost me probably another 5 euros, so 15 euros. Yeah, yeah. So basically within 20 euros you are basically a sadhu externally, but internally it's not that easy. And
It's too dear, you say. It's too dear. It's cheaper.
exactly. So a external change is actually easy, But internal change is actually difficult. And when you're not cleansed or purified internally, then what happens? Although you have changed externally, but what you try to do, when those thoughts and you dwells, what you do, you try to bury them inside. But unfortunately, Krishna spoke in the previous chapter 2.62 to 2.63 how from contemplation, attachment, lust, and all the pathway he spoke. So unfortunately, what happens when you're not that much purified inside and you have renounced externally, then what happens? Unfortunately, those force you, and you obviously will try to exploit. So this is the issue when you try to prematurely renounce. Hence, in the purport also, Srila Prabhupada says that sannyas, premature renunciation or sannyas, is actually a disturbance to the society. And going on ahead, when we are engaged in Krishna consciousness, that is far better, Krishna says. So on this point, even disciples of Srila Prabhupada, once they asked that Srila Prabhupada, we also have desires within ourselves and we are engaged and we are also trying to renounce, have a simple living, high thinking we are following. So does it mean that we are also pretending? So for that, Srila Prabhupada said, because it will be very useful for us, because we also can identify where are we going on the right path or not. So Srila Prabhupada said that it doesn't apply to you. You are not a pretender. Why? Because you are not in spiritual life because you have some ulterior motive that I will, follow spirituality and people will come to me for fame. I will follow spirituality, I will gain some power or a position wherein I will be very rich and merry. Or I am not in spirituality to attract someone. But I am in spirituality knowing or accepting that there are impurities within me. But by serving with devotion, I want to get closer to the Lord. My goal is devotion. So what our desire or intention is, that actually matters. Because some person who is renouncing, what he does, he is just renouncing, but he is contemplating on the mind about those previous his desires, and due to which he is going to act anyways, because his desire was to fulfill them. His desire was not dovetailed unto Krishna, but we accept our shortcomings and at the same time we try to engage in devotion. That is the reason Krishna says that he is actually a sadhu. So this is the reason Srila Prabhupada says that a person who is engaged in cleaning the streets is far better than a charlatan who is engaged in this renouncing duty but trying to earn a livelihood. So if you are in a vesh of a sadhu and you are earning livelihood through that, but he is far less than a person who is sweeping the floor. So this is how Krishna says that it's far better to be engaged, and in that way at least you won't get diverted. That in that way other innocent people will also not get diverted. So this is the misconception which gets clear. So goal is neither to prematurely renounce, which is what people think about spirituality, nor it is to indulge unrestrictedly. So it's neither restriction nor indulgence. The goal is to regulate it. And this is what actually we'll be speaking about, how karma yoga is. So we have to act. Krishna says that you can't maintain, even body cannot be maintained because you need to do the work. So we need to breathe, we need something to eat. So it's not possible for us to stop work because we need something. We need to eat, we need to sleep, we need a house. So it's obvious, even while we are sleeping, it's not possible for us to be idle. While sleeping also we are breathing, and while sleeping also there are dreams. So even while sleeping we are not idle. So for this purpose, Krishna what he says, that at least work. How to work we are going to see now. So the art of work, this is what karma yoga is. So Krishna says neither renounce prematurely and obviously don't indulge unrestrictedly, regulate it. So how it starts? Practically speaking, Krishna starts from the cycle of sacrifice from verse 3.9 to 3.12. So there Krishna speaks about work. So he says the best way to work is working for the satisfaction of Vishnu. Savai Vishnu Yajna. So working for the satisfaction of Yajna Purusha or Lord Vishnu. So one can ask, why should I work for him? So Krishna explains, further he goes and he explains that the cycle, how we get our food. So obviously everyone needs grain to subsist or exist. That's a food, clothing, shelter is our basic need. So where does food come from? Food comes from rain. And where does rain comes from? When we do yajna or our sacrifice. when we do our yajna and sacrifice, then demigods become pleased and through they offer us rain. And how do we know what sacrifice to perform? That is mentioned in our prescribed duties. Everyone has their own nature. Everyone is different. So everyone has their own nature, and according to your nature, you need to work. Because when you work as per your nature, you will feel satisfied because it aligns. People say, right, do what you love, love what you do. So basically, it has already been described in our Shastras, which is known as Varnashram Dharam. So therein, we get to know what is our nature, and as per our nature, we do our prescribed duties. And when we do those prescribed duties, as we know, then demigods are pleased and we get rain. But how do we know what our prescribed duty is? Where is it mentioned? So those are mentioned in the Vedas or the Shastras. Good, okay, Shastras mention about this. So where is the Shastras coming from? It's coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. So in this way, the whole cycle works. Okay, so it comes from Supreme Personality of Godhead, uses the Shastras. In the Shastras, we get to know what our prescribed duty is according to our nature. Then as per our nature, we perform sacrifice. When we offer that sacrifice, rains and everything subsist, and through that we get grains. And in this way, the cycle works. So in one place, Srila Prabhupada also says that communists in earlier times, they used to say that people used to pray that please give us our daily bread. And communists used to come and he used to ask, you prayed for daily bread? They used to say yes, but they would say, did you get? They will say no. Then communists will come and say, take this bread. And so God does not exist because I gave you the bread. But they don't know that grain comes from rain. And where does rain come from? Ultimately, it's coming from Krishna or God, basically Krishna, Vishnu or God. So that is the reason why that I work for the satisfaction of Vishnu needs to be performed. So here is our first teaching. First way of acting in Karma Yoga. First way of acting in Karma Yoga is offering our food for the satisfaction of the Lord, which we say as prasadam or bhoga. So take an example. As we saw technically that grains come from rain, rain come from Krishna. Even in our present life, if we see, we go to a mall and we buy something. And after buying that, what we do? We take it, we put it in our bag and we try to exit. Then what happens? That sensors, they detect us and they tell us that you haven't paid, come on, go and pay back. So in the same way, why? Because we didn't pay the money for the product. Which owns it? Any shop which owns it. So in the same way, if we have to pay for any product to the owner in this world, in the same way, if you are going to see, grains are coming from rain and rains are coming from the Supreme Lord Himself. So for that process, what we are doing? We are offering these grains or the preparation which we do through those grains to the Lord directly, which we technically call it as prasadam or bhoga. So anyone here offers bhoga or prasadam or knows how it is offered? Yeah, like the process. Why? How do we offer the grains? Like what all we look and what all considerations we do. Alright. So as till now what we understood that it starts with offering our food. But how do we offer our food? Okay, we are getting, we are analyzing more and more. First we understood we need to work. We cannot renounce our work. Second, we understood it starts with offering our food, grains, because it comes directly from Krishna. So we need to offer our food. So how to offer our food? So the first thing what Krishna asks is, as Krishna says, Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayashati tadaham bhakti uparitam prashname prayatatmanaha. So Krishna says that offer anything with devotion and I will accept it. So it includes sattvic food. So when we offer anything which is vegetarian without onion and garlic, and if we offer that with devotion to the Lord, then Krishna accepts it. So there is a kind of debate that people say that do not eat meat because animals are killed, that is a big sin. Yes, that's accepted. And they ask that, okay, you are also killing plants, so does that not incur sin? So yes, even that also incurs sin, more or less, but that also incurs. So what we do? Ultimately, jiva jivasa jivanam. Ultimately, everyone survives by killing other. So the logic is by eating vegetarian, we are committing least amount of sin. Because anyways, if you don't, potato is there. If it is in the ground, eventually after the cycle is anyways going to rot. Instead, what we are going to do, at least it is least sinful, and at the same time, how did that grain or potato or anything come? Because of rain. And rain came from Krishna. So what we are doing? We are taking that potato or anything, any dish we have prepared, sattvic, and we offer it to Krishna directly. How we do? We prepare a sattvic food, and we offer tulsi leaf over each and every preparation. We offer it to God, and we have certain mantras which we can discuss later after the class. And in that way, when we offer it to the Lord, then Lord immediately accepts. Ultimately, Lord does not need that because He is providing everything. Just like if father gives a chocolate to his child, father does not need the chocolate, but when child gives, father is happy. So in the same way, when we offer it to God, God becomes happy, and ultimately what happens? Krishna says that whoever offers food in sacrifice is freed from all the sins. So this is the way we can start our karma yoga. How? Offering our food for the satisfaction of the Lord. You might like eating sweets. What you can do? Prepare the sweet, offer it to the Lord. You might like, some spicy food or whatever. You can at least start dovetailing your food unto the Lord. And in this way, what happens? Automatically you become freed from all the sins. But it becomes obvious what happens if you eat for your own satisfaction. The next verse Krishna says, who eat for their personal sense gratification, verily eat only sin. Because it's like taking it but not paying for it. So that becomes a sin. Because in our Shastras, it is said, we have 3 debts. Debt to our family and ancestors, debt to demigods, debt to our saints. Because from saints, we get the knowledge. From ancestors, they gave us the culture and the environment. And to the demigods, because sun provides us light, Indra provides us rain, so we owe all of them. But when we offer it to the Lord, then what happens? It's like you are pleasing the CEO directly. Then automatically the managers and everybody in the company is pleased. Just like when you water the root, automatically all the tree becomes nourished. So in that way, when you offer it to Lord directly, then automatically it's pleased. Just like if you have some work in the bank, if the head office itself gives us a stamp, then the branch office does not have any problem. Okay, he sanctioned means okay, all right. So in the same way, when please the Lord, automatically we become free from all the sins. So this is this first step we can take. When we take this first step, automatically we are starting our karma yoga. So karma yoga means what? Karma is action, as we saw, and yoga means connection or link. So we are linking with Krishna through our actions. This is what karma yoga is. So here what was the action? We prepared our food and we offer it to the Lord for His satisfaction. So this is the first step. Kind of it said that eat your way back to Godhead. So that is also possible if you offer it with devotion. Then, okay, we understood eating, but we need to act as well. We need to perform our duties to survive. So how to act properly? So for that purpose, Krishna says in the further verses that even when we start performing our duties for the satisfaction of the Lord, eventually what we need to do? We need to focus on our prescribed duties for His satisfaction. And eventually what Krishna says, someone might say, or Arjuna might have thought that by working like this for his satisfaction, offering food for his satisfaction, eventually what will happen? I will become purified. So at that stage, what should I do? Can I renounce? If by following this process I might become purified one day or the other, I will offer food for the Lord, I will offer my work for the Lord, and I will do everything for the Lord, and then one day I will be purified. So that day can I renounce? Krishna says he doesn't have any duty to do, but still he may not stop doing his duty. He can still continue doing his duty just for the sake of teaching others. So one day we will also, when we start offering our work and our food for the Lord, we will also get purified, because when we get connected to the Lord, we get purified. And we will, at that stage, Krishna says, there won't be any duty for any person who becomes completely Krishna conscious. But still, he can still continue to do his duty. Why? So that he can teach others. And Krishna gives an example of Janak Maharaj. So Janak Maharaj was a self-realized soul right from the beginning of his life. But still, he continued to do his duty as a king. He did the duty as a king. He did the duty as a father. He did all the duty. Why? So that people can understand how a person can follow spiritual life along with his material responsibilities. So if some people say how to, the first questions become clear, that the spiritual life means renouncing all duties. No. Just like Janak Maharaj, he was completely self-realized and he had no duty to do, but still he did. Why? to teach us that even being completely self-realized, you still can perform your duty. And in this way, what happens? You are teaching others. Yat yat acharati shreshtas. So because what happens when someone greater, our leader or some, we might have a heroes, we follow many heroes, that okay, he is my role model, he is my hero. Then what happens? We follow what their actions are. Even in our past, if we see our past generations, because they had models of the West, so if our role model smokes or does something, we also follow, because they are doing, they are great, that means I can also do. So what role model we fix, their path we are going to follow. And for that reason, what Krishna says, that whenever we do our duty properly, then what happens? Automatically people will also automatically follow. So by doing our duty, what happens? We are preaching as well. So when we are perfecting our life, at the same time other people are also getting inspired indirectly. So there is an example for this. So what happens in the next verses, Krishna also says that there is no duty prescribed for me. When Krishna comes, he says there is no duty prescribed for me, but still I do my duty. Why? Because if Krishna doesn't do his duty, then what will happen? People will quote Krishna that he didn't do, so I will also not do. And due to that, indirectly, Krishna would be the cause for ruination of whatever wrongdoings are happening. So there is an example. There was one sadhu. So what happened? A lady came and she asked that my child is eating too much sugar, so it is very bad for him. So can you please guide him, because he is not ready to hear me. At least he will hear you. So sadhu said, you come after 1 week, I will surely guide your child. And after 1 week, when she came, he told that, oh my dear child, please do not eat too much sugar, it is bad for your teeth and health. And the lady was very happy. Okay, you heard the sadhu, so now do not eat too much. Then they went home and the child stopped eating as such. He didn't eat any sugar. And the lady was shocked. She was already thinking that the sadhu told just one sentence, please do not eat too much sugar, it is bad for you. And the child immediately heard, and I am trying to convince him the same thing by saying paragraph of knowledge for 1 year, 2 years, but he was not listening. So what is the essence or secret? So she goes to the sadhu and she asks that what was the reason he heard to you when you just said those 2 sentences, but you took 1 week to say. So can I know, you could have told it even 1 week before. You told me to come after 1 week and you just told 2 sentences. So sadhu said, even I was also eating sugar. So because I was also enjoying eating sugar, so what I did, before preaching, I ensured that I myself do not eat it. And when he himself followed, what happens? Even people learn by your example, that's one thing. But whenever you preach, the words are basically just like a train. But what's there within that? What's the essence within it? Just like you take an example of, say, whoever are Indians, they would know masala dosa. So there is filling inside, or say there is a filling, there is a vegetable filling. So the outer cover is like our words, and the consciousness is what within. So if we are ourselves not following, then what happens? We are telling many things. There are words, but the consciousness inside, there is nothing. That is the reason there is no transformation in the other person. But when we ourselves follow, then what happens? There are words, and the consciousness is also there where we ourselves are following. The realizations, our actions, everything are there. Due to that, there is transformation in the other person. That's a hope for transformation. So in that way, this is one of the way what we can do. We can train our children also. Children obviously learn by example. But in this way, when we ourselves follow, then automatically what happens? They also start to follow. So that's why what happens, if you want to discipline your children, you yourself have to get disciplined. So that is one of the austerity. So going on ahead, Krishna says that there is no duty for me, and if I don't do it myself, then what happens? Other people will quote you. Just like if there are a bigger and small brother, and if a small child makes some mistakes, what he will do? He also did it. That's why I did it. He will quote his bigger brother. So that's why Krishna, what he says, that if I don't do it, then what happens? Then all people will follow me, and it will be a cause for ruination. So just for teaching us, what he does, he goes to the Gurukul, he fulfills the duty as a grihastha, as a king. So he fulfills them because he wanted to teach us how a person should lead as a best or perfect example. Because when we go ahead, obviously Krishna says, 4.9, there are many verses where he says, Janma karma cha me divyam. My activities are transcendental. But still he does it. Why? So that he can teach us how we should be there. Then, going on ahead, finally Krishna explains, okay, so you may do so that other people can learn, and you need to do it for my pleasure, alright. But there is one small trap here. What's that small trap? Someone might think that I have to do this and these activities, and I need to do it for the pleasure of the Lord, and even when I'm purified, I still can do it so that I can teach others. Alright, here it is clear. But there is a small trap that we might think that I am doing it. I am doing it for the God's pleasure. I am doing it for teaching others. That is doing the activities and then thinking that I am doing those activities because of me it happens. Sometimes people say, I did so and so much for you. So for that, Krishna what he says, that Pakrite Kriya Karmani Guna Karmani Sarvasa Hankara Vimudatma Kartaham iti manyate. So Krishna says that actually the material nature is doing everything. It's not we who are doing. It's actually the material nature who is doing everything, and it's just our false ego or illusion that we think we are doing it. So how is it relevant for us? So Krishna is saying that you offer your action, your fruit of your action to me. But someone might think that I did so much effort for doing it, and now Krishna is saying offer it to me. Krishna is so bad. Kind of you become attached to it. So Krishna is clarifying, if the action does not belong to you, then the result obviously doesn't belong to you. Like Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 2.47, Karmane vadikaresne ma phalejo kadachan. Why? Because Krishna says you have the right to do your duty, but you don't have the right to on the result of your actions. So that is the reason Krishna says that we are not the doer. So through that what happens? Our attachment to the result goes away. So if we are thinking that because I'm acting, so I am the doer, then automatically what happens? We become attached to the result because I did so much. It's like I did so much, now I have to give away whatever the result is. Then we feel a little bit, oh my God, he's taking away something. Hence Krishna is clarifying that you are not actually doing anything, but it is just the material nature which is doing. So all we need to do is just offer that fruit. When the action is not yours, result is not yours. And when you offer your result, what happens? You automatically get purified. So in this way, your attachment also goes away. And how to understand this? Krishna gives a final example. That take a cashier. So cashier in the bank probably would be counting €1 million of cash. And if he thinks that I did so much effort in counting those, so he expects that maybe 1% of how much I counted, I can keep it in my pocket. At the end of the day, I will take 1% of it and I will keep it in my pocket and I will enjoy. Or if he thinks I did so much effort, so after 1 year, my manager has to give me a raise because I did so much effort. So that's why we hear that we are easily replaceable. So that is the reason why we can do our duty, but at the end, result is not in our hand. Hence, Krishna says, all right, instead of getting attached to your duty, what happens? We think I am the doer. Then we become attached to the fruit. And when we become attached to the fruit, what happens? Then we think I need more. I got just this much. The result, I did so much, I got this much. Then we think I need more of the result. Then if we need more result, then we need to work more. Or probably even engage in sinful activities. So in this way, we slowly get entangled because we identify ourselves as the doer. Hence Krishna clarifies that you are not the doer. And if you offer it, just by understanding you are not the doer and offering, what happens? You become completely purified and you become freed from everything. Hence, one way to conclude what Krishna says, offer your food. Then he says offer your activities, and you just do it sincerely, you do your work sincerely, and then for my pleasure, when you do the work sincerely and you offer it, what happens? You become purified, and in this way, when you ultimately get purified, there won't be any duty for you to do, but you can lead others by example. So that is what known as Acharya. So he preaches himself through his own example. So kind of Krishna concludes still here that in this way, when you are going to act, automatically what's going to happen? You yourself are getting freed, you yourself are getting purified, and you're teaching others as well. But there is a small problem. What's that problem? We all know that it's good to do chanting, it's good to offer the food, it's good to not get attached to something, but still sometimes we commit mistakes as if I know this is right, but still what happens? I commit something wrong. Classical example is for someone suffering from addictions. They know this is bad for them, but still what happens? They forcefully are engaged somehow or the other, and then they lament also. It's not that they are thinking it is good for me. So it is kind of, you are convinced intellectually, but still you go on the path which is bad for you. So this is what Arjuna asked on our behalf. That okay, you say that I need to work for your pleasure. I offer everything unto you sincerely. Start by doing, offering bhoga. Then don't think yourself as the doer. So everything is clear. But sometimes even if I get bewildered, although I know what is right, then what should I do? So there Krishna says for that 3.37. Kamesha Krodesha Rajoguna Samudbhava Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyena Miha Vairina. So he says that it is lust only, Arjuna, which is the cause. Basically the desire, strong desire or hankering is the only cause which forces you to act on it. And due to which what happens? Eventually it transforms into wrath or anger. Krishna speaks about this pathway in the previous chapter, second chapter, 2.62 and 63, that it starts with contemplation. I will take an example over here. So it starts with contemplation, then it goes to attachment, and then it becomes into lust or desire. So how to understand that? For example, here I didn't see much, but if you go to India, what happens? Suddenly when you go inside a mall, you will see a car stopping there. It's a new model. They will show these are the features, this is the price. And people will go there, oh it's good, they will be given a chance to sit on it and get that feel. Then what happens? Some person can go, he will see, okay, it looks good outside, looks good inside. He sees the price, okay, 20 lakhs only, okay, very nice, only that that becomes more attractive. Then he goes, okay, fine, okay, it was good, 5 minutes was good. Then what happens? There he starts to contemplate, 20 lakhs, new car, okay. And in my surrounding, nobody has a new car. Everybody are using second or third hand car. So I can be the center of attraction. So what happens? That becomes contemplation. Then slowly what happens? When he gets some time, what he will do? He will go online, he will check mortgage calculator. So he will check, okay, it comes to, to 300 euros per month. I can anyways afford it. So you will slowly passive. This is passive. He haven't start acting actively, but in this way he starts to look out. And if he sees, okay, it is possible, then what happens? He become attached. Okay, if it is possible, why not do it? Then what happens? He starts to call his bank. He starts to do an online application. He starts to go and ask for the company, the car company that I'm planning. So what are all the registration details, etc. He starts. So now kind of he is convinced because he has started to work on it. Now he is convinced, okay, probably I'm going to get it in 1 month. So here the strong desire comes. So what happens? He starts to tell other people that I'm planning to buy this new car. He starts to apply. It shows in progress. The application is in progress. So what happens? I need to get it somehow. That feeling comes within him. So you can say if the application fails, what he will do? I need it somehow. It starts to apply to other banks. If other banks also rejects, what he will do? He will go to non-banking financials. So somehow he wants to do it somehow. And if it doesn't happen, what he will do? He will go crazy. Hence that lust gets converted or desire gets converted into anger or wrath. Hence he says kamesha krodesha. So either it will get fulfilled, and if it gets fulfilled, it will become greed. Okay, I need more. And eventually at one stage greed won't be fulfilled, and hence it will come to anger. So in this way we basically get stuck into it. So this is one of the greatest trap, that I know what is right, but still I am going on the wrong track. So for that Krishna says, what is the way to get out of it? For that Krishna says that you need to nip it at the bud, as we say. So Krishna gives the strategic points where lust sits. He says that the senses, mind and intelligence, these are the three places where lust sits. So how to understand in this example? When you see the car, you have seen it through the eyes. So eyes were the source through which we got attracted to it. Then we start to contemplate on it. Maybe we can do it. Let's see for how much it is. EMI is coming. So that is contemplation. So it is on the mind. So lust has come through the eyes. Now it is in our mind. We are contemplating. Now when we start applying and we are planning how to get it, so it has also entered into our intelligence. So in this way, slowly from the senses, it enters the mind and it enters into the intelligence. So in this way, what happens? When it's Krishna says, if you want to stop it, we say, right? Yeah, we say prevention is better than cure. So Krishna says, nip it on the bud. At the senses, at the level of senses itself, you need to stop. And one might think that, well, I can't, Krishna, you said I need to fight, and now you say lust can divert us from doing karma yoga, and you say nip it at the bud, at the level of senses. But I need to use my senses to work. So you need to tell me a way I can engage in work, and at the same time lust doesn't capture me. Because you can't go to work by closing your eyes. Okay, I will blindfold myself, I'll go to shop and I will come back safely. No, surely you will be hit by a car. So how to work, although lust has a chance for taking us over. For that, Krishna says that he says the analogy that there is sense objects, like I have a laptop, I have a car, I have a table, everything are sense objects. About the sense objects are our senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue and skin, through which we can perceive them. About the sense objects are the senses. About the senses is our mind. About the mind is our intelligence, and about the intelligence is the soul, and obviously about that is the super soul. So if you want to control your senses, then mind controls the senses. It is the master of the, it's the head of department, HOD of the senses, and the mind is controlled by the intelligence. So it's an analogy that senses are like the horse, and the rope is like the mind, and the chariot driver is the intelligence. So in this way we need to somehow control our senses through our mind. And who is controlling the senses? The chariot driver controls the horses. So in the same way we need our intelligence to somehow control the mind, so that mind will control the intelligence. The senses. So what we need to do with the intelligence? For that, Krishna says, use this sword of transcendental knowledge in order to cut the eternal enemy, which is known as lust. So basically, if you want to have this powerful intelligence which can control your mind, so that your senses can be controlled, then what happens? Automatically you will be able to control your lust. For example, you have proper knowledge that if I'm going to invest in this 300 euros, what will happen? Already I'm planning to buy a house, then how will I save for my down payment? So automatically what you will do? Just forget it. You will stop even thinking about it. So in this way, what happens? When you use your intelligence, automatically what you can do? You can avoid contemplating on it. So that's why it is important. Hence it is important to have transcendental knowledge. And where does that transcendental knowledge comes from? From our Bhagavad Gita. So when we study wisdom texts like Bhagavad Gita and practically implement, how? By doing our karma yoga, offering our food for the Lord and offering our duties for the Lord, then automatically what happens? We start to become purified, and along with doing our duty, what we can do? Doing karma yoga, we can connect to wisdom texts like Bhagavad Gita, so that we do not get diverted. And in this way, we can stay on the right path and continue being on that path. So as we said, there are three ways of karma, or three kinds of action. What is, as I said in the beginning, sakarma, vikarma and akarma. So if we do some good activity, philanthropic activity, it's good, we didn't do it for God, but we did because it is good. Obviously it is good, obviously, no doubt, and you will get good results for that. But unfortunately, if you do good for the society, which is fine, which is not wrong, but unfortunately what it happens, then you will get better birth, you might go to higher planets, and then you have to come down again. Or if you do bad activities, vikarma, it's obvious, by doing sin you will go to lower planets, and then also you have to come back again. Hence Srila Prabhupada says in many of his purports that go back home, back to Godhead, just leave, finish your business and go back. And for that we need to do vikarma. Vikarma means inaction. Inaction doesn't mean not doing anything, but doing it for the pleasure of the Lord. And when we do it, and it starts with karma yoga, as we saw today. So when we do vikarma, automatically we get freed from all the reaction, good and bad. How does that work? Let's take an example. So if there is a soldier, say in army person, he is working under his commander-in-chief. His commander-in-chief, what he says? Go there and kill our enemies. And he goes and kills many people, and what he gets? He gets a medal of honor. And he is very happy. But now he comes back home, to his home where he stays, and his neighbor is troubling him too much. Now what he does? Anyways, I have killed 1,000 people. what will happen if I kill this person also, and he kills that person also. Now what will happen? The same government who gave him this medal will send him to jail. Why? Because those killing which he did, 1,000 killings of enemies, was under the sanction and orders of the government. That's why he was considered, or he was considered great. But now which he did was based on his own whims. That is the reason he has to face his reactions. So just like how to say, if the manager, if you are working in a company and we did some changes, and some other person asks, hey, why did you do? What we can say, manager told me to do, so I did it. So automatically what happens? Who ordered you will take responsibility for your actions. So same way, if you are going to work for Krishna, then what happens? Krishna takes care of everything. That's why Krishna says what? Sarva dharman paritejya mam ekam saranam raja aham tam sarva papebhya mokshayishami ma sucha. Don't worry. So Krishna will take care of all what's happening. What we have to do? We need to work for Krishna. And obviously we saw how to do. Work for his pleasure properly without any sinful activity, offering every fruit to him and all the offering, which starts with offering our food. So in this way, when we engage in Karma Yoga, offering our work, offering our food, and also studying wisdom text, in this way what happens? We will be on the right path, and we won't be also deviated any time from our original path. And in this way, eventually we can get to the level of Bhakti Yoga. So it starts with Karma Yoga. Eventually, as we progress in our Bhagavad Gita, we'll know it ultimately meets to Bhakti Yoga. Just like rivers meet unto the ocean, we start with Karma Yoga because action we have to do anyways. So we start with Karma Yoga and eventually we reach to Bhakti Yoga. So that's the process. How we can, it's just like a start. So now we know what we can practically do in order to start connecting with God. So in this way we can start our journey back to Godhead by purifying ourselves. So anyone has any doubt or comments or any addition?
You talked about duties, so you mentioned that we have many duties. Can you talk a wee bit wider? What are those duties according to Bhagavad Gita, according to the Lord?
Yeah. Thank you. So basically, Krishna says, Chatur Varna Maya System Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So this prescribed duty, as we saw, prescribed duty, where does they come from? They come from the Vedas or Shastras. So Shastras or Krishna himself says that duty is based on our nature. So we have two nature actually, if we say. So what Krishna says, Guna Karma Vibhagasha. So Gun means our psychological nature, and Karma means action. Action is our physical. So psycho-physical nature is what Krishna is speaking. So based on our psycho-physical nature, everybody has their own choice of actions. For example, if I am very calm and composed, so my nature is to read books and study. Some person will be passionate, he wants to fight for the society. Some person knows how to handle a business. Some person knows how to work properly. So if we read the Shastras, that is the reason Krishna says Guna Karma Vibhagasha Chaturvarna Maya system. Hence, this is what Varnashram system is. So that is why Srila Prabhupada, one of his mission was to establish Varnashram system, so that we can act based on our prescribed duty. We can do our prescribed duty based on our nature. So there is Varn and Ashram. So Varn means what? It's basically
Social work?
Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. And we see Ashram is Brahmachari, Grihast, Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So let's practically understand. So there is one person who makes policies. So policy makers we have, then we have philosophers we have, then we have PhD people we have. So all these people have one specific nature of analyzing, going through deep analysis, etc. And they can foresee things and they can give us policies. So we can say they are policy makers one way. Then we see administrators. We need administrators who can follow those policies and implement it overall in the society. Seeing that, okay, this is the policy, it is abstract, but how can I apply it in my real life to my society? So he sees what changes needs to be done and he tries to apply it. Then comes entrepreneurs. Okay, government can say now the percentage of tax has been changed, but how to implement those changes, how to change the working in the society, where to add the price, where to decrease the price. So those is taken care by entrepreneurs, and ultimately there are skilled service workers who can actually on ground make those changes. So we need all this for policymakers to guide, administrators to handle, entrepreneurs to manage, and finally skilled workers in order to analyze and implement it. This, when we speak in Sanskrit, is basically Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So basically, if you see, if skilled workers are not there, nobody is there to implement. And if there is no policymakers, nobody knows what to do. So there is no discrimination between who is better and who is small. Actually, all are working based on their own nature. So this is actually what Varnashram system is. And how is it relevant for us? Prescribed duty. Why did Krishna say prescribed duty? Because when we act as per our nature, so what happens? Love what you do what you love. So when you act as per your nature, then what happens? Obviously, there is going to be challenges in your field of activity. Not everything is going to be easy. But because you are doing what you love, what happens? Even if it is difficult, you will still strive to do it. Because you love doing it. And when you love doing it, then what happens? Eventually, even problem is also temporary. It will also get solved. Because you did what you loved. So what happens? At the end, because it got solved, you will get the satisfaction. And but at the other place, what's happening in today's society? Nobody is happy with their jobs. But we want to be happy, which is our nature. So what happens? Because we are not happy with the job, we are trying to find happiness from the result, the fruit of our job. What is that? Salary. And when we try to expend that salary, we can't enjoy that much. And we think, I want to enjoy more. And when you want more salary, you need to work more. You have less time. And it becomes more and more complicated. But at this place, when you do your prescribed duty according to your nature, then what happens? You get that sense of satisfaction from within. And this is the place where what happens? You are able to detach yourself from your fruit. Because when you are satisfied from within, then you won't be attached to the fruit. Then you can easily and happily offer it to the Lord. So in this way, what happens? And you also realize in that process that I am not the doer. So Karma Yoga becomes easier when we are actually working as per our nature. And that is why actually Varnashram system was defined. That is what our Shastra has defined. So that was the reason why Srila Prabhupada wanted.
Can I ask them what is discrimination between demonic Varnashram, or you can do everything what you mentioned for yourself, for your enjoyment, as an individual, and how this Varnashram system works in sacrifice, how it's connected with sacrifice. Can you explain that?
Well, I will try to explain as much as I can. So the current demonic or perverted Varnashram system is completely based on your enjoyment. And if you are going to say enjoyment, one way if we see what's the nature of the soul, it's Sat Chit and Anand. Ishvara Paramakrishna Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Lord or Supreme Lord is Sat Chit and Anand. And Krishna says, Mamai Vamso Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. We are his part and parcels. So we are also Sat Chit Ananda by nature, by quality. And obviously we also need enjoyment. And when they say you need enjoyment, where is discrimination? Even a person who is a philosopher or a policymaker, he wants to be happy and enjoy. And even a person who is an entrepreneur, he also wants to enjoy. But because of this perverted thing, what happens? You want to enjoy. There is no idea what path you want to take. And due to this, what happens? Everybody is running here and there, just like babies are running. So what happens? Ultimately, everybody clash and nobody is happy. Hence, what happens? To give clarity and give the path, Varnashram system is there so that you first know yourself. When you know yourself, you can act as per your own nature. And when you act as per your own nature, you get satisfaction. Then you can have detachment. You can follow the right path of our Varnashram system, and it goes on. So clarity is the issue.
So the clarity is the issue. Yeah, you can be clear about yourself, but if the environment or surrounding, all our varnas and ashramas are not there, you cannot cooperate. And true cooperation is sankirtana or the yagya. So we cannot do the yagya. So where is the key? Missing key. Where is missing key? In first Bhagavatam it said, which is lost key of this yagya? Why we are not having yagya? Why we are not having varnashram? Can you answer that, please?
Well, today the Varnashram system is not there. Well, I have no much clue, but that's what basically even in Srimad Bhagavatam also states, Kalo Sudra Sambhava. So that's one of the reasons why we don't have many skilled workers and many of them. And that is one of the reasons why Srila Prabhupada also need Devi Varnashram. So that was one of the goal. That's I can say.
So Srimad Bhagavatam, you see, we may have qualities of Brahmana, we even can study, but we cannot implement as a duty to the society for sacrifice our life and for others to help, in devotional service for the Lord as society. And it's because we are not looking for the cows. Go Brahmana Hitaicha. So as soon as Prabhupada says in every single text from the start of the Bhagavad Gita, if a cow killing is going on, it's not human society. So we can talk about Brahmanas, there is no Brahmanas, because the cows are killing. And if I'm thinking, oh, I'm Brahmana, it's not my duty, that you are not Brahmana, because it's your mother.
Right.
It's mother of everyone, so, so that's the point, so even when we talk about, the duties, so you give very nice class, but, you cannot do it on your own. None of us can do it. That's why Sankirtana Yaga is the only option. But why Prabhupada said Varnashram? Because you cannot even have, your spiritual life here. Everything is based on violence, very bloody violence. It's not visible, it's advertisement. It's very nice. But if we are not thinking, if we are serious about our spiritual life, we will find out, oh, I cannot live in this society. I cannot live. You talked about pretenders, so I must be a pretender. Otherwise, you know what I'm talking about,
Yeah, but at least because you intend to for engaging in Sankirtan Yagya and you accept that you have those qualities and hence you are trying to come together to get devoted for the Lord. Hence, that is the reason Krishna says that you are far better.
Yeah, the Kirtan is the only option.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhuji, for it. Anyone else has any doubts? Yes, sir? Yes, Prabhu?
Bhagavad Gita chapter 3 verse 7. Do you remember? Chapter 3 verse 7. Properly, let me make translation. But for one who takes pleasure in the self, those human life is one of the self-realization. And who is satisfied in the self only, fully satisfied, for him there is no duty. Prabhupada purport foolish. Prabhupada said, a person who is full Krishna consciousness and is fully satisfied by his act in Krishna consciousness is no longer have any duty to perform. Is no longer have any duty to perform. Due to his being engaged in Krishna consciousness, all impurity within instantly cleanse and effect on many thousands of yaga performed. By such a cleanse of consciousness, one becomes fully confident of the internal position in a relationship with Krishna as a supreme. So
3.7?
3.7.
No.
I give you Bhagavad chapter 3.
3.7. 3.17.
Yeah.
3.17.
Answer.
Sorry. So in this chapter, it is conclude about understand first consciousness. When you are not conscious, you can't talk about financial love. You can't talk about anything because you are not conscious. So we have to be conscious first. Who? Of Krishna, and there is no duty anymore. Because whatever you do, you don't care because it's just temporary. Having this dharma, having that, having this, but when you know Krishna himself, there is no duty. Because because he's the master of all knowledge. Whatever we are suffering, there is one thing, I love this one, Prabhupada say one time, even it's not Prabhupada, it's Tribhuvanatha Prabhu. He say one word, they build the institution of university, college, schools, for the people who they are not intellectual. Means the stupid people, they have to go to university. But the person who you invent the car, he never go to university because he's intelligent already. Someone who created this was intelligent already, so he doesn't need to go to hospital or to go to a university. So Krishna consciousness is the most important. Then all the dharma we are suffering with, it will be automatic because we are conscious. You don't need to suffer about looking left and right.
Yeah. That's
We
why.
can have all kind of dharma. But Krishna is already said in the 18 years, you just use
66.
the words again in the verse 1866, right?
Sarvadharma
Sarva
Parityajam.
dharma pariprajam. He's already there. Abandon all dharmas. Because he's already telling you in chapter 3 that anyone who is a Krishna conscious, if you are conscious of Krishna, there is no duty for you. So which kind of duty we are looking for? Eating, sleeping, and we are waiting to go back, Separ Shada. Goodbye. So the duty is that let us chant the name of the Lord, perform your duty. Krishna said, perform your duty. But all duty you do, you have to put in Vishnu's name. Because all sacrifices go to Vishnu. He sent thousands of demigods for these purposes of your lifetime. But he didn't tell you to worship him there. He just said one person to worship in all the demigods was Ganpati. He didn't say you to worship anybody else. Just to help you for your devotion things. Dharma, adharma, all those things, when you know Krishna, when you are in Krishna consciousness, it doesn't work anymore. Because you know already what's going on.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripasindhubhyev cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Takoti Vaishnavand ki jai, Tagore Premanande, Hari Bol. So we have the next session for Aarti.
No, wait.
Okay.
We have more announcements actually.
Recording में जाएगा.
Hare Krishna. So yeah, that was a wonderful class given by Girdhar Prabhu. So 3.21. Ashani, do you know what is 3.21 verse? Yad Acharya, can you recite that? Hari Bol. So the reason I asked her to quote is that Krishna says that as great men do, the common men follow. And why I'm saying this is because Girdhar Prabhu, you see, is such a young age devotee, and he has begun just 2 years with us with this Hare Krishna movement. And today he is sitting on the Vyasasana because he has been following everything given by Prabhupada. He is doing Mangal Aarti for the last 2 years. I have known him every single day. He is doing service whenever you come to the temple. You will never see him sitting idle. He is always engaged in some or the other service. And then when such a devotee sits on the Vyasasana and give a lecture, it connects and it transforms heart. That is 3.21. So kudos to Girdhar Prabhu. We will chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once for Girdhar Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Vishya Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patita Nam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Okay. So we'll proceed for Gaur Aarti now, and then we'll have more announcements coming for you. Hari Bol. Jai.
ISKCON Dublin ki
Jai. You want to sing?
Prabhu is helping you. I will play that. Prabhu is helping from Murganga.
Yeah. Okay. Will you?
All the age. Prabhu.
Come on, Prabhu.
I'm going 2 years. I'm going 50. Prabhu. I don't look like.
Mic stand. Manoj, mic stand.
People to play Kartal very good. Please follow Kartal.
2 दिन में इंडिया जा रहे हैं फिर आप.
Kartal.
Mic also you need, right? Is it the mic?
Panchatattva ki
जय गौरा चंदे आरती को शोभा की बजायो की बजायो जयो गौरा चांदे आरती को शोभा की बजायो जग मन लोभा जग मन लोभा दक्षिणेनी ताई चान बामे गदाधरा की दक्षिणेनी ताई चान बामे गदाधरा की बाधके ताई चान हसे रत्ना सीमा साने की बाबरे आते की बाबरे आते और रत्ना सीमा साने की बाबरे आदि आरती करे आदि देवगाने आरती करे ब्रह्मादि देवा गाने आरती करे ब्रह्मादि देवा नीताई चांदे आरती करे ब्रह्मादि देवा गणे नीताई चांदे आरती करे ब्रह्मादि ब्रह्मादि देवा गणे ब्रह्मादि देवा गणे जय निमाय निदाय हरि आदि कोरी चामर धुलाया की बानर की बानर हरि आदि कोरी चामर धुलाया की बानर घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला की बाजे घंटा बाजे गौरंगा की बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताला की बाजा गंगा बाजे परम शंका बाजे शंका बाजे मधुरा 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 बाजे शंका बाजे मधुरा मधुरा शंका बाजे शंका बाजे मधुरा 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 बाजे शिव बहु कोटि चंद्रजिनी बदन उज्ज्वला शिव चंद्रजिनी बदन उज्ज्वला शिव शिव सुख नारदा प्रेमे गदा गदा शिव शिव सुख नारदा प्रेमे गदा शिव शिव राधा प्रेमे गादा गादा शिव शिव भाकती विनोद देखे गौर संपदा काकी विनोदा देखे गौरा संपदा शिव सुख नारद प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोद के गौरा संपदा शिव सुख नारद प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोद के शिव सुख नारद प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोद के गौरा संपदा शिव सुख नारद प्रेमे गदा गदा भक्ति विनोद के भक्ति विनोद के गौरा संपदा भक्ति विनोद के गौरा संपदा पदाय कृष्णा पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमः कृष्णा पृष्ठाय श्रीमते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी अचकार सकार मेरा प्रभु नित्यानंदा प्रिया सहित गदाधर शिवा सती गौर भक्त वीरा जय कृष्ण जय कान्हा प्रभु प्रभु नित्यानंदा प्रिय सहित गदाधर शिवा सती गौर भक्त वीरा जय प्रभु नित्यानंदा प्रिय सहित गदाधर शिवा सती गौर भक्त वीरा जय हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hariyo Nama Krishna Yadavayo Nama Hariyo Nama Krishna Yadavayo Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavayo Nama Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavayo Nama Gopal Govindo Ram Shri Madhusudan Gopal Govindo Ram Shri Madhusudan Giridhara Gopinath Madana Mohan Giridhara Gopinath Madana Mohan Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita श्री चैतन्य नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत सीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भागवत गीता हरि गुरु वैष्णव भागवत गीता श्री श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री श्री सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे 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 कृष्णा जयो पंचतत्वा जयो पंचतत्वा जयो पंचतत्वा जयो पंचतत्वा जयो जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधे जयो राधे श्याम 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 जयो राधे 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 जयो राधे राधे जय ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम जय ललिता विशाखा जय ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम जय ललिता विशाखा जय राधे श्याम Prabhupada jaya Prabhupada jaya Prabhupada jaya Prabhupada jaya Prabhupada jaya Prabhupada jaya Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura, Hari Bol, प्रेम ध्वनि जय ओम निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे माधवी माता
विष्णुवाद परमहंस परिवाचकाचार्य स्तोत्र शास्त्री श्री अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी प्रपात की
जय
जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिवाचकाचार्य स्तोत्र शास्त्री श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती स्वामी महाराज की
जय
अनंत कोटि वैष्णवंद की
जय
नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर नाम की
जय
से कहो श्री जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की
जय
श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राम कुंड श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की
जय
वृंदावन मधुरद्वार धाम की
जय
सामवेद भक्तवृंद की
जय
गंगा यमुना मई देवी की
जय
तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की
जय
मायापुर धाम की
जय
कीर्तन यज्ञ की
जय
ISKCON वर्तमान आचार्य गणों की
जय
षडगोस्वामी वृंद की
जय
all the glories to assembled devotees
Hare Krishna
all the glories to assembled devotees
Hare Krishna
all the glories to assembled devotees
Hare Krishna
all the glories to Guru and Gauranga
Hare Bol
all the glories to Srila Prabhupada
Jai Shri Prabhupada
all the glories to Srila Gurudev
Jai Shri Gurudev
Nitai Gaur Premanand
Hare Bol Hare Krishna Jai Jai. So we'll have Narasimha to that, but just few announcements. So if you've come above, you see there's on the first floor Vrindavan Spiritual Bazaar. So you can go and you can see for some devotional stuff and you can buy from there. That's the first announcement. And the second one is that today's Sunday feast has been sponsored by Mohit Garg Prabhu. So all glories to him and his family. So we'll chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra once for him. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Jaya Narasimha, Jaya Jaya Narasimha.
Jai Narasimha.
Ugram Vyam Mahavishnu.
Ugram Veeram Mahavishnu.
Jwalanto Sarvato Mukta.
Jwalantam Sarvato Mukham.
Narasimha Bhishama Bhadram.
Narasimham Bhishanam Bhadram.
Mrityam Mrityo Namamihaham.
Mrityor Namamyaham.
Narasimhadev Bhagwan ki
Jai.
Dr. Prahlad Maharaj ki
Jai.
Jai Gaura Sita Brahmanande.
Hari Hari Bol. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Prahlad Lad Daine. Prahlad Lad Daine. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Hiranyakashi Purvakshaha. Shrilakanka Nakhalae. Hito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Hito Narasimha Parato Narasimha. Yato Tato Yami Tato Narasimha. Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Bahir Narasimha Hridaye Narasimha. Narasingha Madim Sharanam Prapade. Narasingha Madim Sharanam Prapade. Avakara Kamala Vare Natham Adbhuta Singham Dalita Hiranya कश्यपु तनु बिंदा केशवधीता नरहरि रूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे विघ्न विनाशक नरसिंह देव भगवान की भक्त शिरोमणि प्रहलाद महाराज की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद
जय नंद यशोदा नंद गिरिधर हरि गोपाल
जय नंद यशोदा दुलार गिरिधर हरि गोपाल
नंद यशोदा नंद गिरिधर हरि गोपाल
जय नंद यशोदा दुलार गिरिधर हरि गोपाल
जय गोपाल
गोपाल जय गोपाल
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
श्रील प्रभुपाद की
जय
ISKCON Dublin की
जय
महाप्रसाद की जय महाप्रसाद गोविंद
ब्राह्मणे वैष्णवे अल्पपुण्यं पदं राजा विश्वास नैव जायते शरीरार विद्याजा नारंगिया ताहे काल शैले विशेषागरे सारमते जीवाति योगर्मोहे सुदुर्मते कठिन संसारे कृष्ण बड़ दयामय हरिबार जीवाजा वो प्रसाद मिलो भाई जय नमृत पाओ राधा गोविंद गुण गाओ संख्या तत्व गुण गाओ मेरा कोटि चैतन्य निताय जय निमाई जय निताय जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद प्रिया द्वैता गदाधर शिवागत गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम राम हरे हरे।
श्री श्री महाप्रसाद की
जय।
So we are getting late. We should go downstairs now.
प्रसाद ले ले.
Let's go downstairs for prasad. चालू कर दिया सही.
चालू करिएगा
नहीं नहीं नहीं.
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे. रुक रहे हैं हम तो.
करेंगे प्रसाद लेकर फिर करते हैं. सभी करते
पहले कर लेते हैं क्योंकि हम निकल जाएंगे 7 मैक्सिमम
7 बजे ना.
6:30.
आप 15 मिनट में प्रसाद लेकर एनर्जी में होना था.
ये इसको बंद करना है. हरे कृष्णा.
ISKCON Dublin में आपका स्वागत है.
ISKCON Dublin में आपका स्वागत है.
बिग बॉस चाहते हैं कि आप नीचे जाके प्रसाद ग्रहण करें.
हरे कृष्णा.